Hello and welcome to another episode here at West Coast Dogman Project. I'm your host, J. Michael Crisp, and I'm joined with my partner in crime, Mr. Todd Metz, and we're honored to have the one and only Mr. Eric Mintel. Eric, welcome aboard, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Same here. We've been kids in the candy store waiting for this, so we're honored to have you.
I have to say, Todd reached out, and it was great, an instant connection, and so this is great. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys.
Yes, and we're honored to have you. Todd, how are you doing tonight, brother?
Yeah, doing good, man. What's happening with you? Glad to see both you guys, on the show tonight, and really looking forward to talking with our friend Eric Mintel.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about in a short period of time, but I guess I could kind of give it a shot here and just say I'm a professional jazz musician, turned paranormal investigator, but I'm still playing jazz, And who better qualified, right, to investigate the paranormal than a jazz musician? So, but so I've always loved the paranormal. I mean, since I was a kid. I mean, really, we live in an area here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and Bucks County is very, very rich in paranormal history and history in general. I mean, you've got Washington across the Delaware, literally right down the street from where I live. And just so a lot of really great ties to the Underground Railroad. So a lot of great history. So UFO sightings, I mean, just incredible. So, and I've also been a jazz musician my whole life. This year is actually 30 years as,
wow.
As a band leader.
Congratulations.
Thank you. As a band, and the guys that are with me in my group, we've been together 20 of those years. And
Wow.
I say that we've been together longer than most marriages. So,
Certainly my marriages, that's for sure.
So to have that is really special. But and the guys in the group, they like the paranormal, but they kind of stay separate from what I do that way in that realm. But in 2016, I started was originally called Bucks County Paranormal Investigations. And then we turned it to Eric Mintel Investigates. And what I wanted to say with my jazz quartet, we've had a lot of incredible opportunities over the years. We've played at the White House for two presidents,
Wow.
President Clinton in 1998 and President Obama in 2011. We've played at the Kennedy Center numerous times and the United Nations. So we've reached reaching a lot of people through my music, and we do tours all over the country. And thankfully, my jazz audience has followed me into the paranormal, which is really, really cool.
That is awesome.
We were just down in Hilton Head doing gigs down there at a great place called the Jazz Corner. And someone in the audience said, "Oh, I heard you on Coast to Coast AM. I love the show." And then people are shouting out in the crowd saying, "We love your paranormal show." So it's really cool that, we're getting that kind of like notoriety. We just made the cover of American Paranormal magazine in January. And so it's been really, really incredible as far as that goes, and meeting a lot of great people like yourselves that, we're talking about things that are just otherworldly. And I always say that even 10 years ago, would we even be talking about this? Because it's just so prevalent, and people are having these experiences, us included, that people want to talk about it. And when you have other people talking about it, other people feel comfortable, telling their story. So it's really been satisfying that way. And we've been on a lot of cases recently, guys. And I'll tell you what, some of the stuff that we've caught on video, I go into it. I initially went into it, and I still kind of go into it a little skeptically, to be honest with you. Especially when it comes to the ghost situation. And I think, Todd, I've mentioned that to you as well. But the more we've captured on video that I can't explain, the more I'm a believer in that there's a real thin veil from here to there. And that goes with everything. I mean, it goes with UFOs, Bigfoot, the Dogman that we're talking about tonight, the Beast of Bray Road, which was just an absolutely incredible encounter. So I didn't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but in 2016, I started Eric Mintel Investigates, and we started doing videos on local bed and breakfasts and restaurants and inns that are haunted, and people loved what we're doing, and we're driving traffic to those places that want to experience those things, because the paranormal is huge. People love those experiences. And it's quite the opposite. A lot of people, maybe about 10 years ago, well, we don't want to be associated with that. But anymore, I think people are adopting the idea that, hey, we do want to, we want to bring people in, and people spend money, let's be honest, to experience these places and these experiences. So it's been really, really incredible the last few years. And then going into Dogman sightings. I mean, we've been doing everything from ghosts to Bigfoot in the New Jersey pine barrens to UFO sightings. But the Dogman sighting, when we were in Elkhorn, I had heard of the Beast of Bray Road, and I didn't really put too much into it, to be honest with you, because I didn't really know too much about it. I knew it was supposed to be an upright canine or a werewolf type creature that people have been seeing for years. And I knew Linda Godfrey had really put this creature on the map. Linda Godfrey, God rest her soul, she just passed away, but she really put this Beast of Bray Road on the map. And then one of our friends and fans, Ellen Collins, she really is the catalyst for how this video came about that you guys saw, which is on our YouTube page. It's the Beast of Bray Road, Alive and Well. And Ellen had said to me, we should do a video on the Beast of Bray Road. And I said, well, I would love to do that. I said, the only thing is, we're in Pennsylvania, you're in Wisconsin. How do we get out there, and who's going to pay for it? Anyway, she said that she would pay the freight. So she did. And so I made her the executive producer on the video, and she's awesome. And we did that in October 2nd through the 4th of 2021. And what happened next was just something that I was not prepared. None of us were prepared for. On this investigation, it was me, Dominic Sattel, which is my spirit medium team member, which this was totally out of his wheelhouse. He's more of like the spiritual guy. He's reading, when we go into a location, he'll like pinpoint all those hot spots. And this was completely out of his wheelhouse. But he was sensing a lot of things there. And then it was Ellen was with us, and Scott, her son, who was our drone operator and cameraman. And Scott is awesome. He builds these incredibly like fast drones. And so it was just the entire night. We were on the farm of Lee Hample. I don't know if you're familiar with Lee, but I mean, he is a phenomenal guy. Him and his brother, Fred, Lee gave us access to his property, to the farm. It's a 35-acre hayfield, and nicest guy in the world. I mean, but he showed us pictures of what he's captured on the farm, which just blew our minds. I mean, our minds were absolutely blown by what he's got there. I mean, hair samples that when you put them under the microscope, they're translucent.
Oh, wow.
Really, really odd thing. And then video of these UFO type lights in the woods, orbs in the field. And then shafts of light that are coming down but not hitting the ground, and having these orbs in the light. And then the creature itself, you could see like this blurry, you could see that it was hair. It was like a pectoral muscle, and you could see the hair coming off. And we put it in our video as well. But there are some pictures Lee's kind of keeping to himself. He's keeping those close to the vest, because there are some pictures there that are incredible. There's a picture there also, which just blew me away. And kind of what we tried to tie into this whole thing, of these orbs that are in the middle of the daytime that he got, that to me, it looked like the creature inside this orb coming down from the sky. So it was, so all of these pictures, and I mean, thousands and thousands of pictures, trail cam pictures that he's got, all of these pieces of evidence were so helpful to our investigation. And this, I don't know if you want me to keep going and talk about that, or
the platform's yours. So
okay.
we're listeners, and like I said, we've only got an hour with you, so you talk away, Eric. We're just listeners, and we'll ask the questions towards the end.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
So we did the investigation October 2nd through the 4th of 2021. So we got out there on the 2nd. I'll just kind of give you a chronological order of what happened. And so we get out to Elkhorn and met Lee and met Fred and Lee's brother Fred, who Fred was a non-believer at first, but then since Lee was getting all these great pictures and all of this evidence of footprints, these 7-toed pad tracks that they're there in the field, and all of these other like square tracks, which we later called knuckle walkers, because it looks like if you were like a gorilla, like walking on their knuckles. And they're all over this field that we were in. So those things, and then so we went to Lee's and met with him earlier in the day, and we kind of did a little bit of reconnaissance in the field to kind of see where we were. Well, Scott, the first thing that happened was Scott on the drone was following us as we went down to what Lee calls the bait area, where he's been getting all this activity. And as we're going down there in the field, Scott wears these like, you've seen those virtual reality glasses. Well, Scott wears those for his drone. When he's wearing those, we're in the field. In this one part of the field, we completely disappeared off of his radar. And he didn't know where we were. Suddenly we reappeared, and it's like we disappeared in that little section there. This was very strange, and this comes back into later during the investigation. So this was like an electronic disturbance that we had in that area. And that was like in the middle of the daytime. Then we went to do some more reconnaissance in the field. Lee showed us this area. I think we went to go get something to eat. And we were stopped by people that just knew we were in town, telling us their story of seeing this creature, which was really wild. I mean, it was just like, and I'm pretty good at discerning the BS from the truth. And these people were really sincere about what they saw. And we also did a follow-up. I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But so we got something to eat, and we went to this steakhouse. I think it was the steakhouse the first night that we were there. Sunday, October 3rd, we went back to the bait area, and we set up the GoPros into that area because we wanted to catch anything that was in there. But the main thing was I baited that area with steak bones that we had the night before. So we were able to keep those bones. I put them down there. And so they were there in the tree. We set up the GoPro. Then we went back to Lee's barn so he could show us more pictures. And we kind of caught up on a lot of the other stuff that he was doing. We waited for it to get dark. And so around 8:30, I guess it was starting to get dark. And we get out to the field. We thought we were going to have to scrub the whole investigation because at first it looked like it was getting cloudy. It was going to rain. Mm-hmm. So we're like, oh my God. So we get out there and we got on the four-wheelers, and Dominic goes, do you think the four-wheelers will scare it away if it's out here? Well, that theory was blown when we got out there because what happened next was crazy. So, and that it didn't scare it away. So, and again, I am going out there thinking that we're not going to see anything. This is in my mind. I'm like, we're not going to see anything. It's just, we're going to get a great video. We're going to do a great documentary. We're going to talk to some cool people. That's what's going on in my head. And going down to the bait area, all we had was a flashlight and a radio, nothing else. Lee offered us some firearms, but we didn't take it. I could have taken which I should have taken, was a flare gun, but we didn't do that. We didn't take that. And that was my stupidity of thinking that there was nothing down there. So we had a trifecta of paranormal activity that night, which was just absolutely mind-blowing. So we get down to that area. We set the camera up and we got off the four-wheelers, and we set the camera up and Scott's got it on. The first thing that happened was Scott's GoPro it wasn't linking up. It wasn't recording anything. He wasn't able to record. So he was trying to fumble with that, trying to get that fixed. So we get out to the field, and the first thing Dominic does is look up, and here it's a clear sky, completely clear now. We're in that area that we're in. And Dominic looks up and goes, "What the hell is that?" And I look up, and he goes, "What is that, Eric?" And I look up, and here it's a solid orb of light just going over the field. Just silent, just a solid orb, only not that far up. And you could see on the video, you could see like there's planes next to it. There's planes going around it. And this thing is heading toward a plane. So we're still looking at it. We're looking at it, trying to figure out what it is. It's not a plane. It's not making any sound. It's not a satellite, because we looked at that later on, and it wasn't a satellite. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't a space station, nothing. So it goes over, and it does a 45-degree angle and disappears. It just blinked out.
Wow.
Similar to what happened on Skinwalker Ranch recently. So that was the first thing. Right after that, I heard a howl in the distance, and Dominic and I are looking at each other like, what the hell is that? And then the second howl was closer. And then Dominic's like looking at Ellen's still looking up in the sky, looking at the UFO, trying to figure out what it is. And all of a sudden he says to Ellen, "Are you hearing this?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's coming from over that way." And that was on the other side of the field that we were in. And I want to remind you that the corn around the hay field that we were in was still up. So the corn was like there. It could have been like, it was a hiding area.
Mm-hmm.
The third howl that this thing made, it was so loud, and to me it sounded like a man screaming in this field that we were in. It was this low guttural scream, yell, growl combination, and you could hear it plain as day on the video. And I just want to impress upon people and your viewers how this is. We didn't have any big time audio going on. We just had these little lavalier, they're called Cinco microphones, and they were our lavalier microphones. It was so loud that it picked it up on that lavalier.
Wow.
From way across the field. So where we were standing, it was so much louder to our regular ears, to our ears. And right away, it changed my whole perspective on what was going on there, because something was there. And we looked over, didn't see anything. We could not see anything. And we didn't see anything. We didn't see a form. We heard it, and we also saw eye shine. So we shined the light over in the corn where we heard it coming from, and you could see eyes going back and forth like this, darting back and forth. It's the same thing that Lee had been talking about, that he had seen. These were kind of like, to me, it looked like yellowish. Lee saw red, but these were, and it could have been because of the light we had. I don't know, but there was definitely something there. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, this creature is supposed to be 6 to 7 feet tall. Well, it was about 6 to 7 feet tall up into the corn line. So it was up there. Wow. And we knew it wasn't any other house lights or anything like that, because we had seen those other farmers' lights. This was a separate set of eyes darting back and forth. So that was that second thing. The third thing was there was a mist that came up from the field that we were in. It was just this weird mist came up, and all of a sudden it started messing with the electronics, like the audio. And so that was very, very strange. And then later on that night, the entire town of Elkhorn went out of power, lost power.
Wow.
So it was insane. It was insane, guys. I mean, I kid you not. That's exactly what happened. And I looked in my hotel room the next day, and here I must have brought a stick back with me from Lee's property. And Dominic goes, "You brought it back with you, didn't you? You brought it back." And that's why we lost the power. But it was insane. But now the thing is, we did not see it. We were just talking about all the fakery and stuff that's out there. There's a lot of people that are posting stuff that are seeing this creature, and it's not there. We didn't see it. We saw the eye shine. We heard it. It was there for sure. It was there. But we went back again now in April of 2022.
Mhm.
Oh, here, I wanted to go back. This is one thing, a very important thing. So back to the investigation. So Lee has all of those trail cams out there, right? So the night of the investigation, those trail cams shut off at 5 o'clock and didn't go back on until 7:30 the next day.
Wow.
And it got no pictures of anything. It got no pictures of us, nothing. He sent me a text the next day, and then the bones were gone. So the bones could have been taken by anything, but it was just an insane night. One that I will never forget. I still get goosebumps talking about it. And it was not,
Hey, Eric. Hey,
yeah.
Eric, let me just, since you're talking about not seeing the creatures, obviously, but I think in one of your videos you were talking about during the investigation, you, or I don't know if it was Dominic or Ellen, thought that there may have been two of these things. So could you comment on where you think that idea came from, or where that feeling came from?
I think it was because of the howls. I think it was like,
Mm-hmm.
I think Dominic might have thought it was a male and female, because I think there's a pack of these things out there. That was our thinking later on after this investigation, and when we went back thinking about that more, we were like coming back with these theories, like, well, there was probably more than one there, because you could hear all this rustling going on behind us, and it wasn't windy. There was no wind, but you could still hear this rustling sound. That's when I said to the team, I said, we got to get out of here. I said, because, this is the safety of the team now is getting compromised. Whereas when I first heard the howl, yes, it was startling. And I'll say there was that fear factor there, but it was also this feeling of like, what is this thing? It was like you wanted to go toward it. You wanted to try to find out what it was, not run away from it. You wanted to find out what it was. In hindsight, if this thing was there, and it was what it's supposed to be, I would be toast. I wouldn't even be here right now. But the other thing is, it could be as afraid of us as we are of it.
Exactly.
So that's one thing. That's part of this investigation and the research, and why I love the paranormal so much is because we always leave with more questions than answers, right? Every investigation. There's no definitive answer of what it could be, but we're getting close, because when we went back for a follow-up in April of 2022, we had a town hall meeting at the Matheson Memorial Library, which is in Elkhorn. To our surprise and delight, we had over 140 people showed up to tell their story about seeing this creature. And the one thing I walked away from that follow-up and people's description was how this thing walks, and the gait of this creature. On all fours, it's really fast, but on two legs, it's like it's gliding. It's not like we would walk like this, we would bounce up and down. This thing's like gliding when it walks on two legs. So that was very, very strange. And fast forward to an investigation we're doing out here in Bucks County. It's called the Beast of Bray Road. It's supposed to be the same type of creature, a dogman creature out here outside of the Philadelphia area. People are describing the same thing. They're describing the same way this creature walks. It's on all fours and on two legs. And then come to find out, after I did this investigation, there's dogman sightings all over the country, all over the world.
Yes.
So it's just not to, and that's why we're speaking on the West Coast here, because you guys are on the West Coast, because you're having a lot of sightings there as well.
Yes, exactly. And that's what you said. You're in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is actually a hot spot with dogman sightings, especially in the last year. There's been an uptick in sightings. So you're in the hotbed right now, brother.
Man, listen, let me tell you, Shane, Todd, we had an investigation. A guy came forward with a sighting of a dogman and drawing of it, which I should have sent you, and I will send you that on Messenger. But
okay,
this thing, he said it looked like it had a hyena type head, and it was about 6 to 7 feet tall, but the arms were at least like dragging like 6 feet, because when the sighting was crazy, and he actually saw this thing in Berks County, which is right outside of it's like Midwestern Pennsylvania, like you're heading toward Harrisburg.
Mhm.
He said he saw this thing up in a tree, and it was trying to grab a bird, and the first thing he saw was this long arm trying to grab this bird, a vulture or whatever it was, turkey vulture. So yeah, I mean, this is like, these sightings are going on all the time, and it's fascinating, man. I mean, I always say this though: people are seeing something.
Exactly.
They're seeing something.
Yeah.
What and what is it? Are these people being picked to see these things and to have these experiences? In our research, what I found is that I think people are whose antenna may be more attuned to these experiences will see these things more often than the average person.
Hmm.
And look, we're all buried in our phones sometimes too, looking down where we should be looking up,
Yep.
and it's like we're looking around. But it's amazing, man. The whole thing is just fascinating to me. And what it is, I mean, that's is it a dog? Is it a werewolf? Is it a wolf? I don't. To me, it did have that wolf like quality to it, that sound, but it was definitely not a coyote, and it was
Mhm.
definitely not like a fox or an owl. Somebody said it was like a screech owl. I said no way. Or
Yeah, no, it sounded more canine in the video
yeah.
for sure.
Now I just reached out. I had a woman reach out to me who had a sighting in Elkhorn, about outside of Elkhorn, about 30 minutes away from Elkhorn. I forget what the town's called, but she and her husband were on this highway, or on this road, and she looked over to the tree line, and she saw this like dog-like thing walking up to the tree and then getting up on two legs and going up into the tree, trying to get something out of the tree, and then came back down again. So they couldn't stop. So they turned around because the traffic was moving. They turned
Mhm.
around, pulled over to the side of the road. Now her window is toward the tree line now, right? And the field and the big tree line. So this thing's coming toward the car. But the thing is, the weird thing, it had like a triangle shaped head. The body was more like a bulldog, but a big, like or almost more triangular shaped.
Mhm.
But she said the thing got, and this is one of the things with Lee's pictures that really got me thinking about this. The woman said as this thing got closer, it was harder to see. It was getting all like pixelated. And I'm like saying to
Wow.
myself, could this thing have some kind of cloaking ability? Like
Mhm.
like the lizard that can, change its colors and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one thing. Because when Lee showed us the pictures of the hair samples that were translucent, I'm thinking to myself right away, this thing's got some kind of invisibility factor
Mhm.
where, like a deer, like if you're looking at a deer, and Todd, this being in the wildlife preserve, a deer could be right there and you couldn't see it because it's blended in so good to the background.
Sure.
And I'm wondering if this has that ability. Just, it could be there and you don't know it's there, but it's there. It's blending into its environment. It's
Well,
just, that's another thing.
yeah, well, people have reported, certainly reported seeing these things in trees.
Yeah,
People go, oh, Jesus, dogs can't climb trees, wolves can't climb trees. Well,
right.
apparently these things have been in trees. And you always say, well, if you're out investigating Dogman, make sure you're not just looking ahead, but you're looking up too, because they could
Yeah.
be in a tree. And talking about, whether these things have cloaking capabilities or invisibility capabilities or coming in and out of portals. I mean, there's so many different theories and possibilities with these creatures based on the sightings and encounters that people have had. And just with what you were talking about before, Eric, with the UFOs, seeing some sort of anomalous lights in the sky. Well, we had Nick Valente on last week. Shane and I interviewed him, and we were talking about UFOs and whatnot. And, he was mentioning that out of the, what was it, Shane, between 400 and 700
Yes.
sightings or encounters, there was
Oh, well,
a
he did.
percentage.
It was a 6-month survey. He did over 400. And then after 6 months, it was at 92% people that had seen a dog man had a UFO sighting shortly after. So, and then it went up to 94 because he was still receiving reports. And I think he got up to like 700 plus. And that's why it went up to 2%. So 94% of dogman sightings ended with a UFO sighting as well.
I don't doubt it. I mean, there is a connection there. I've always thought, and I know a lot of people aren't on the same side, but I always thought there was a Bigfoot UFO connection as well, because there's been a lot of evidence about that. But Todd, you talked about portals. That's what I think that's going on Lee's property. I really think that this thing is coming in and out of some kind of, either in and out of our reality or somewhere along the line there. As out as that sounds, it's just something that is going on there that just is mind blowing. I just talked to Lee not too long ago, and he said the howls are back. So
wow.
It's back. So here's what we're doing. In September, at the end of September, we're going back and we're going to do a whole new investigation. We were just given access, granted access, I should say, to 185 acres that are all around Lee's property.
Nice.
With other farmers that said it's okay that we could go investigate. There's a lot of area there that's been untapped. I mean, the last time we were there, we went into another field and we did see a lot of these square tracks, but we did find a bedding area, and we also found a water source, and there was all these, oh my God, like in the very first investigation, Scott put his drone up over Bray Road, right? We were parked on Bray Road doing some interviews, and he put the drone up over Bray Road. There was a huge cutout in the corn of something that was going from the quarry over Bray Road and into Lee's property. So that's one area that we're going to try to look at too, is in the quarry. There could be a cave system there that it could be living there. But this thing was not, it was like a big cutout. It wasn't anything like a vehicle or anything went through there. It was like something like a big creature or something went through there. Because all the corn was knocked down. And that was amazing to see that. And we were like, wow, that's going right over the Lees, right over here. So it's like, it's a perfect like line. And exactly to where we heard it. So yeah, this next investigation is going to be really cool. And again, Ellen Collins has come forward, and she's going to do it for us again. So she did the last follow-up as well. So she's been I call her, she's our Wisconsin branch researcher out there. So she's doing everything, and she's researching Bigfoot. She's been doing a lot of research on the tapetum lucidum with the eye shine, with these creatures, and why and how much energy is expended in order to do that, and why these people are seeing these red eye glow, this red eye shine, and trying to figure out where that's all coming from. So yeah, she's been very, very invaluable to the team.
Wow.
Well, the other thing too was I was going to ask you, Eric, when you were on Lee's property and you had just mentioned a water source. Now, so many of these dogmen have been seen next to water sources, whether it be sandy riverbeds or rivers, lakes, ponds, whatever you want to call it. So, how close to his property is there a water source?
Well, that was like in the next field over. I would say less than half a mile.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So very close.
Yeah.
So very close.
Sure.
When we were over in the field, though, that we did a daytime investigation there, we heard some gunshots. So but it wasn't at us. There was some coyotes and stuff that I guess it was open season on coyotes. But and that's one thing I wanted to impress on people too. This was in no way a coyote at all. That what we heard. And coyotes, it's funny because Lee's neighbor has also been, the guy that's across the street from Lee in Elkhorn has also been seeing this black mass of a creature, like running across the road, going to and from the field.
Wow.
So, and Lee's like, and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, that's a black coyote." And Lee's like, "No, coyotes aren't black."
Exactly.
No,
So,
no.
yeah. So there's
Not that
something.
I've ever seen.
Not that I've ever seen either. So there is something going on there that's just, it's really mind blowing, man. And how I met, it was funny how I met Lee. I had seen him on Paranormal Declassified. It was a show on the Travel Channel, and something made me give him a call that night. It was funny because Ellen had it was synchronicity, right? Ellen mentioned about doing this video about the Beast of Bray Road. Then I see Lee on this program, and I'm like, wow, something's telling me something here. Then I gave Lee a call that night when I found his website, and I gave him a call that night that I saw him on the show. I told him that I just saw him on the show and I'd like to talk to him about his property and about his research. Well, we talked for 2 hours.
Wow.
It was incredible. He was, and he sent me a bunch of pictures. He was awesome. And then that led to that following October to doing the investigation. And yeah, going out there, it was like, again, not thinking that we'd see anything, and then just to have all of that activity was just absolutely incredible. And then the next week after we got home from Elkhorn, we did an investigation of Bigfoot in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. Mm-hmm. And good friend of mine, Eric Spinner, and his researcher friend, Art Mack, they are great Bigfoot researchers in the Jersey area. So we do an investigation in the Pine Barrens in this place called the Bowl. And it's a bowl because it's very low in the middle and it looks like a bowl. It's like you're basically higher on either side. So we go 5 miles into the Pine Barrens, not a soul around. I mean, it was just desolate. And we get out there and then we park the truck and we went about 600 yards into the woods and set up a base camp. And we're sitting there talking about his research. We're videotaping everything and shooting it. And as Dominic is talking to Art about his research, we all collectively hear a whoop in the woods behind us. And to be honest with you, whenever I've seen those programs, and not to put anybody down because I changed my perspective on this, but whenever I saw those programs of people whooping and hollering, I'm always like saying to myself, I had to chuckle because I'm like, is that what they really sound like? But, and then I'll be damned if that's not what I heard. And I was like, so it changed my whole perspective there too. Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing. So after we hear this whoop, right, Eric's wife goes to answer it back and it answers her back. So she goes, whoop, and it's like, whoop, whoop. And they're having a conversation back and forth. If you could picture this, those sounds in a pitch black forest with nothing around, no wind, silent, nothing but a sliver of a moon. That was it. Then we heard some big time rustling going on behind us, which I think what's been going on there is they've been getting a lot of juvenile Bigfoot sightings there. And I think that was a juvenile that was making those sounds. And the big rustling we heard was the mama or father Bigfoot, coming to get it. Because as they were going, you could hear the sounds going away from us. Spookiest night, man. I mean, it was just some of the stuff that we've and it's like no sooner there. We were no sooner there. 15 minutes, this stuff happens. And I always tell Dominic, I said, it's your fault. Because he's like a magnet for these things. Something always happens. But yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Eric, we're sitting at about the 40-minute mark, so I know we've only got about 20 minutes. Do you have anything you want to follow up with? I think we got about 10 minutes. We wanted to play the video for the guests and for people that will be viewing this in the future. It's about 4 minutes long. I was only able to crop about 4.5 minutes of it.
Absolutely.
And upload it. But Todd, if you have any questions, I'll let you ask first before I have any questions. And then if we have a few guests, then we can ask the questions there and then we'll play the video if that's okay with you.
Yeah, definitely play that video. Those howls that Eric and his team picked up are just absolutely amazing. And I never get sick of listening to those things. Every time I listen to them, I try to pick up something different and see what they, see if I hear something that, that jumps out at me, but they're completely
And
amazing.
I appreciate that, Todd, because that's what we need. We need other ears in this. So I appreciate it a lot.
And it's always good
Well,
to have a
that's-
community of people listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Real quick,
absolutely.
Eric, I
And
wanted to ask you
that's
a
what
quick
do.
question. Did you think that, so you didn't see anything physically, it was just more that you just heard the howls, right?
Right.
During the investigation at Lee Hample's? Okay.
Correct.
And so it looks like I'm going to go through the chat really quick. We have a laundry list of people that joined in. Just real quick. A good buddy of mine, his name's Rooster. His name's Stuart Clark. He's out of Ohio. He wanted to know what time of the month. It was in October, right?
Yeah, it was October 3rd of 2020.
October 3rd. Okay, perfect. And let me see. Lori Barnes jumped in. She said, I think that you're right, that it was a juvenile. I don't think an adult would have answered you.
That was good, because that, for us, that was the first investigation we did of Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens. So that was all new territory for me. So that's good to know, because that's why this community is it's small, but it's large, because other people have other ideas, and it's good to get those as well.
Yeah, and different theories I've noticed is one thing I've heard, that the tree knocks aren't actual tree knocks. It's theory based, but it's something to do with their mouth is one of the theories I heard. And I'm like, oh, like clicking of the tongue. I was like, oh yeah. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Not just someone or a Sasquatch using a tree branch and smacking against the tree, but using their vocals.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
no doubt.
For sure. Todd, do you have any questions before we play the video?
Yeah, it's not so much a question, but just a comment for Eric. We talked a little bit on the phone, and you know that I'm from back east, and man, I was really excited about seeing the investigation that you did. And this is off the Dogman and off the Bigfoot topic, but you guys did a great investigation at Cheney Hall over in Manchester, Connecticut, and I really enjoyed watching that and seeing the stuff that you guys were in the midst of there at Cheney, and I've heard a lot about the place over the years.
Right, exactly, and and I didn't know how incredibly historic it was, but because I've played there, but not. And then what we captured that night was incredible. And again, it was like no sooner did we get there, that stuff happened. So yeah, people could check that out. We'll talk about that after we see the clip too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I'll play the clip for everyone right now, and then after, Eric, I wanted to be able to ask you where people can reach out and where they can find you, and we'll go with the questions after that. That's okay with you?
That sounds great.
Okay, perfect. Here, I'll play the video. Here we go.
There's something there. Are you hearing this howl?
I am hearing this howl. It's coming from over that way.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
Uh-oh.
That's getting closer.
Did you hear it? That was unbelievable. Yes. That's out here.
Okay.
Dom,
was in the distance,
where are
right
you?
Behind you.
And now it was closer. So
shine the light that way. If we see anything, we'll see eyes with that light.
Keep a look at over here.
I'm going to look back here because...
Scott, did you hear that?
Oh, yeah. I could have swore I heard a rustling as well.
You want me to answer back?
No. Okay, so no sooner have we been out here. Did you heard that?
Oh, I heard it.
We all heard it.
I heard that.
Scott, you heard that too.
This was the same sound our anonymous witness reported to us.
We heard this deep monotone sound that it kept going. So if you were to take like a wild pig sound almost and make it monotone so it doesn't pitch, that's almost what we heard.
So there's definitely something out here, man. I mean, maybe we should have used that what do you call it?
The flare gun.
The flare, yeah. Okay, so here we are. No sooner out here 5 minutes. We just heard what
It was not a coyote.
That was definitely not a coyote.
Oh,
Suddenly, I noticed a mist starting to form around us.
oh, look at the mist. Look at the mist coming up. See it?
At the same time I noticed the mist, I also noticed our wireless mic started cutting in and out.
It's starting to mist up here. So earlier what we did, we baited that area that Lee has been getting a lot of activity in. We baited it with a stake bone, and the bone is still there. Scott has a GoPro on that area, so we're going to catch anything that's been in there, in and out of there. We just heard this weird sound. We're not hearing anything now. Dom and Ellen are looking for eye shine, and so far we've been out here 10 minutes and it's been unbelievable. So we got a little bit more work to do.
We're out here. We just heard this howling. We saw something in the sky. I'm just glad Eric didn't decide to split the team up this time.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever heard, man. And it can't be a...
Shh. Rustling. I'm hearing rustling over there.
Whatever that was right over here.
It was in this area.
About the same time Dominic heard the rustling, you can clearly see eye shine across the field from us. Clearly something was stalking us.
I'll tell you what, I mean, we've only been out here 10 minutes.
Sorry, I was only able to get 4 minutes of that because it's such an interesting video. If anyone wants to check that out, go on YouTube, type in Eric's name, and it'll pop up. It's a 27-minute video. It's very intriguing, and I don't see how you would not be a believer after watching it. So
it was amazing. I mean, it was really, I mean, one of the greatest nights we've had as far as that evidence goes, you know, and again, not expecting to see anything or hear anything. That was just a complete surprise with us, as you could tell from our expletives that we.
That was great. Yeah, you were definitely taken aback by that sound. That's for sure. It seems
the
like
unedited version so much better.
I don't. And one thing I'm trying to figure out is why did I beep it out the second time?
Yeah.
Oh man! But I'll tell you what, it was just crazy, guys. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it was just that's what happened. People go out of their way to make to go and do fakery like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But that was all real time of what happened, and you could definitely see it on our faces, especially with Dominic too. If you look back at that video, when you hear the howl, he turns around. It was just like he was white as a sheet, and yeah, it was crazy. And Ellen too. Here's the thing: Ellen had this weird, and this is another connection. Real quick, Ellen had a dream that during that encounter when we saw the UFO and she was looking up like that, she looked like she was in this. Just kept looking up. During that time, she says the dog man in her dream came and put his finger in her palm, and she could see why it was there, and why it was there basically to procreate and keep the species going, which I thought was really interesting that she had this dream. Well, come to find out later when we did this follow-up investigation, Lee has been also having the same dream.
Oh wow!
Very, very, very weird, man. Very.
Yeah,
weird.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
Because Ellen didn't tell anybody about this dream except me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the weird thing, man. And then when Lee told us about that, I was like, wow. I said, Ellen's having the same thing. And he was just blown away by that too. So
wow.
Yeah, a lot of really wild connections.
Mind blowing. What do they call it? Mind blowing, and what do they say? Mind speak or something like that.
Oh
hey, hey, Eric, I wanted to ask you. We got a few minutes left here, so let's talk a little bit about Lee giving you access to the farm. you talked to him. You mentioned, and I'm dying to know what he's got that he hasn't shared with us. Shane and I were talking about that earlier today. We were going back and forth, and maybe he shared some things with you. You keeping them close to the vest. He's keeping it close to the vest. I hope at some point that he releases some of this stuff. Maybe you could poke at him a little bit and see if you can get him to do some of that, to release it to the public, for God's sake.
Oh yeah. He's got some incredible pictures, man. I mean, just things that will absolutely just change the way people think. So yeah, that's what he's, we're waiting. I mean, we're working on a TV show now. So we're trying to work on something with this, and we're going to be getting a little bit more involved in that. So yeah, those things will probably be coming soon. I don't know when, but they will. Awesome. But yeah, I mean, you're going to be like just blown away.
Well, Eric, that's the thing, that you're going to have a big following with the Dogman community, because we don't have really concrete evidence of the Dogman compared to like the Patterson Gimlin film. So with what you guys are doing, you're going to get a big following, because the Dogman is to me, it's personally the #1 cryptid that's taken over the Bigfoot, because people are so curious about it.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree, Todd. I mean, it's just like, and to me, again, I go back to what I didn't really know too much about it, to be honest with you. But now doing the research and finding all of these different connections, it's funny. It's like putting all these puzzle pieces together. And then you've got these sightings out here in Pennsylvania, the same thing. And then somebody had a theory. One of my good friends had a theory. Could this thing be traveling from portal to portal? It's showing up in one area, then it's showing up in another area. And if people could I don't know how we could do this, but if we could do some kind of research where log these Dogman sightings that people are having. When did they happen? What time of day? Then the next day, find out if there's another Dogman sighting somewhere else in the world, and see how these all of these things connect. That might be one way of looking at it. Is it a hybrid? Is it a wolf, a dog wolf type creature? Is it some kind of hybrid? Is it alien? Who knows? I mean, it could be anything. And this woman's account of this thing that was like, as she said, it came closer to her, and it got pixelated, and it was harder for them to see. But the thing is, I didn't tell you, was she said to me that when it got that close to the car and when it was harder to see, that's when this rush of fear came into these people, and they got the hell out of there. So it was very, very strange. It's affecting people in different ways. But yeah, that's one of the things that we're gonna try to do, is just try to capture this on video and try to get this a solid form on video, and that's the goal.
The $1 million photo is what everyone's hoping or shooting for, because that's what we're kind of at a concrete wall right now, it seems like.
Yeah. And it's not even that. I mean, it's not even like the financial thing. It's just like, what is this thing? What exactly is it? It's just, you want to know what it is. And just gets like, with that Patterson Gimlin film, I mean, that was just the definitive creature. I mean, that was like, and it was a female, clearly was a female, because you could see the breasts, and for years people didn't think that. People thought it was fake. People thought it was a male gorilla. No, it's not. It was a female. So, so those guys just happened to be in the right place at the right time, just like we were October 3rd.
Exactly.
So, and I'm hoping, and like I said, when we went and did that follow-up in April, we didn't see it. We didn't hear it. We didn't see it. There was no evidence there. So it's not something that's going to happen. I think if we did get evidence of it and we found something there, I think then people would say, how are these guys getting this? Like every investigation.
Exactly.
So the fact that we didn't get anything, that tells you right there that we just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
And you got the audio how too. So
yeah,
I mean, that's, to me, it was mind blowing when Todd sent me the original link. I was just like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, like I said, we're still wrapping our heads around it, and I just can't wait to get back there in September.
No, we can't wait to have you guys get back there in September because we're looking forward to the follow up of that because that's going to be,
Yes.
you know,
Definitely.
who knows? You know, you went in the last couple of times, not well, the first time you went in not really expecting to find anything, and then whatever,
Right.
you know, sometimes that's the best time. You go in and you're completely open minded. You don't really think that anything's going to happen, and then bam, all of a sudden, you know, there it is. Things
Yep.
are happening all over the place. So
It was
hey, let's
amazing.
hope for let's hope for September coming up this year that you know that
We'll
something
get
else
some good
happens. And
evidence. Yeah, exactly.
The other thing too that I wanted to commend you on too is the follow up with the town hall meeting that you guys did out in Elkhorn. That was really good.
Thank
It's
you.
really good to get out there and hear what some of the locals are saying. And I know some of the, you know, we were talking to Nick last week, and he was down in LBL a while back, and you know, a lot of the locals, they don't want to talk about what happens
Right.
in some of these places. But man, you had 100 plus people show up, and they wanted to talk about it.
Well, we're putting people in a good environment to be able to talk about it, and we're not being. There's no ridicule, no nothing like that. So I think it's the thing is, yeah, and you know, you get people that have their own opinion on stuff, and that's fine. You could have,
of course.
You know, I'm not,
Sure.
you know, hey, look, I'm open to all kinds of conjecture too, but I know I was there. They weren't. You know, that's the thing. But I'm just trying to give them my experience. But you guys, people could find all of our videos on my YouTube page. It's Eric Mintel Investigates. So you can like and subscribe to that. We've got about 80 some odd videos there, ranging from UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, you name it, Dogman, everything. And then find me on Facebook at Eric Mintel Investigates on Facebook, and my regular page, Eric Mintel. I'm always posting stuff there, and new investigations. Right now, I'm finishing up a UFO video investigation that we have right here in Bucks County, where people have been seeing this low-flying object, multi-lights on this thing, flying low, hovering, silent, and almost on a nightly basis. And
Wow.
So yeah, it's been really cool. And what's even cooler is the witnesses are coming forward telling us their story and showing this video footage of what they're getting. So you guys are going to be blown away by this one, because some of the video footage or some of the UFO footage is just incredible. They just they were there, they got their cell phones, and they put some, you know, references in, like telephone wires or whatever. There's a woman sent me a video, and it was similar to my own UFO sighting in 2016, in February of 2016. Of these, my girlfriend and I were going over this bridge, and actually over the Delaware. We were crossing the Delaware, and we were going over this bridge, and I happened to look up, and here these 5 orange orbs just appeared out of nowhere. And to me, it looked like they were swirling like lava at first, but they appeared, and then they did like a search pattern over the river, and then one by one they disappeared. And I was able to get one shot. And I'll send you the picture, guys. I was able to get one shot, and you could see this red orb there, but they totally disappeared. And the woman sent me this video of 3 triangular shaped lights in 3-point formation going over in Bucks County, then disappearing. So interesting stuff, man. I mean, and it's, you know, all we have to do is look up. I mean, yesterday, just yesterday, they had 4 objects went over Pennsylvania, in like they were heading north, and it was 4 contrails, no sound. You couldn't see an object, but there was no military flights going on at this time. So this was out. I think this was out in, I want to say, Berks County, like out in western Pennsylvania. So we're looking into that too. So yeah, I mean, you know, the paranormal is like, it's going on. I mean, it's huge right now. It's like people are seeing stuff all over. So,
well, Eric, I wanted to ask you really quick, when you end up coming out with that video and the pictures, is it okay if we share it to the West Coast UFO Project page? Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Okay, and I'll be sure to tag you and give you credit, because that's what we do. We don't try to claim anything and say it's ours. We give shout outs and, you know, credit to everybody. So
that's great. Absolutely. I'll share you guys too. And that's the thing. We have to work together here. You know?
Exactly. To get the awareness out there.
I want to say Todd too.
That's exactly right.
Todd is awesome. You guys are awesome. Todd has been such a gentleman and a follow-up and very, very professional. So I really appreciate you guys.
So we really appreciate you and your team. Give our best to Ellen and to Dominic. We thank you for coming on the show with us. This has been a great show. And do me a favor, Eric. Promise us that you'll come back after September and let us know what's happening out there.
Yes,
again
definitely.
Oh, part two.
Part two, and then
definitely.
Maybe part two. Maybe we could get Ellen and Dominic on too.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely.
It's past Dominic's bedtime tonight, so.
Yeah, no, we're just super happy to have you on.
Yeah.
Sounds beautiful, guys. Well, thank you, man. And listen, be safe out there in your research too, okay?
Yes, definitely. Eric, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. We can't wait to have you for a part two.
You got it.
Like I said, thank you so much for this. Todd, real quick, do you want to announce who we're going to have on next week?
Yeah, so I think we got Steven coming in next week, and that we've got Christelle. She's from the West Coast, and she's had a number of encounters out here in Oregon. She's going to be with us, and we've got a super secret guest that's going to be coming up. We haven't secured him yet, but when we do, we'll put it out there. I just got confirmation from him today that he'll do a show with us. And we're really looking forward to this surprise guest, so it's going to be a good one, believe me.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him on towards the end of the month. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
This Saturday, Dominic and I forgot to mention, this Saturday, it's going to be probably a moot point at this point, but we're doing a cryptid festival this Saturday where we're speaking about the Beast of Bray Road and
right on,
and we're talking about the Pine Barrens Bigfoot. It's in New Jersey, and on the bill there is Ken Gerhardt and Esteban Sarmiento is going to be there, and a whole bunch of other people. So we're going to speak, and then we're on from 12 to 12:45. But then we have to go over to a place in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, to be on a talk show that's being filmed, like a sizzle reel, like a pilot episode. It's called Conversations by Jack Maxwell, and he was on the Travel Channel with a show called Booze Traveler. but it's a whole new show. But we're going to talk about the dog man. We're going to talk about the investigation. So,
wow, you're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
Busy is good. I could always be busier. But yeah, man, we've got so many videos coming out right now. We've got about 5 videos going to be released, probably in the next month, which I encourage people to go check out on the website. And you guys will love it.
Oh, we can't wait for them to come out. Eric, it's been a huge honor to have you on. Everyone, please go like and subscribe to Eric's channel on YouTube and add him on Facebook and join his groups, please. We appreciate it. Thanks, guys. If you're a new viewer, please go check out our NADP pages on Facebook, as well as our West Coast Dogman Project on Facebook. Please like and share and subscribe. And Eric, thanks again so much, brother. We can't wait to have you on for a part 2.
You got it, guys. Absolutely. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks.
Take care. Thanks, Eric.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you guys all next week with Steven Seagal with Primal Woods. What is that? Primal Cry in the Dark Woods. So really looking forward to that interview. He's got some photographic evidence of Dogman and Sasquatch out in Wisconsin. So that's going to be a good one. Todd, man, I don't know how you were able to pull it off with getting Eric on. It was a huge honor to have him on, and kudos to you, brother.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, he's such a great guy, and the content that he puts out is spectacular. With Eric Mintel Investigates, I've been a fan and continue to be a fan. And, if we can get him back to talk with us after the September investigation out in Elkhorn again, man, it'll be top notch.
Yes, we'll definitely have to stay in contact with him, and maybe we shoot for October or something, or I know he's going to be super busy, so even if it's in November, December, there's no rush, but we'd love to have him on soon. So again, for another part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. All right, Shane. Hey, have a good night, my friend.
All right, you too, brother. Thanks again. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Everyone in the comments, sorry we were on a crunch with only, an hour to have Eric on. So anyone that had questions, I mean, maybe we can save those for a part 2. I'll print them out and we can read them off next time. But, everyone that joined the live, we really appreciate it. Please go like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our new YouTube channel, West Coast Sasquatch Project. And we're trying to interview Sasquatch encounters and sightings there. So it's slowly coming, but we're trying to put our feet in every avenue. So everyone, thanks again for joining us tonight. And we'll see you next week, next Thursday. And always remember, the answer's out there. Thanks again, everyone.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power.